Look, it's a scarf. Oh my god, if I did this, I'm gonna tangle it so much. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, and today we're going to talk about the Ceropegia Woodii, also known as string of hearts, or rosary vine, or chain of hearts, or all those kinds of things. I think this is probably one of the easier plants I have. It grows so freaking fast. Like, when I got it, it was probably a foot long, maybe like 25 centimeters or so, and now it's at least double that. And I gave it a haircut literally this morning, and I'm trying to propagate a whole bunch. So it's grown so much. I've given it loads of haircuts in its time. It's super duper fast growing when it's put in the right conditions, so that's fantastic. It's known for these really long vines with gorgeous heart-shaped leaves. It's super easy to care for. It's kind of like a set and forget kind of plant, so it's good if you're kind of a new plant owner or you're not too sure whether or not you can handle something super high maintenance. That's totally fine. This one is a good one for you. It's in the same family as Hoyas, so it's kind of succulent-like. It's got thick leaves that store water, but it's not quite as succulent, so it's a bit of an in-between kind of plant, which is fine. Maybe it's good if you're used to growing succulents and you want to start growing like foliage plants. It's kind of a good transition because it's similar to a succulent, but it has foliage. Look, it's a scarf. Oh my god, if I did this, I'm gonna tangle it so much. It's already tangled. I've already untangled it twice today, and I don't need to untangle it anymore. They get really tangled up. The leaves on it, they kind of come out in like hooks, and those hooks just catch each other. Right there, it's just hooked onto itself. It's just the leaves catching on the stem. That happens all the time. They catch on the stems, they catch on each other, they just catch on pretty much everything. And so these guys get tangled super fast. So I'm gonna try not to move it about too much throughout this video and just kind of hold it nicely, I suppose. Another benefit of these string of hearts is that it's non-toxic to everyone. So non-toxic to humans, non-toxic to cats, dogs, babies, whatever you could probably possibly have. It's not gonna hurt it. So it's totally pet friendly, child friendly. You won't really have to worry about it causing any like digestive issues or anything with anyone. So that's really good. So before we get into the care on this one, just want to say if you like this video and you want to see me make more videos about plant care and stuff, please do give this video a thumbs up, comment below on other houseplants you'd like me to talk about, and subscribe for more. So without further ado, let's get into it. So when it comes to water, you want to water these ones when their soil is pretty much completely dry. They like to dry out all the way between waterings, otherwise you could risk overwatering and the tubers could rot and basically your plant could die. So only water when the soil is totally dry. That's what I do. I test with my water meter, stick it in and see whether or not they're dry. If it's dry, then I water. If it's not, then I don't. Simple as that. You definitely want to water more in the summer and spring and less in the winter with this one. It really doesn't need all that much water in the winter, just very occasionally, every few weeks to a month, depending how big your plant is, and probably every few days to a week or so in the spring and summer. When it's getting hotter and drier, that's probably the best watering schedule for these. They definitely prefer it on the drier side. So they actually store water in their succulent-like leaves. And so when they need some water, if you can't tell by the soil, the leaves will start to wrinkle a little bit and wilt. And that's a surefire way to know that it's time to give your string of hearts a little bit more water. If you do end up overwatering, it'll tell you by its leaves going yellow and falling off, and that's not good. So if your leaves start doing that, it's probably best to cut down on that water and start letting it go a little bit more time between waterings. When it comes to light, they really like super bright light. They even like a couple hours of sunshine a day. like direct sunlight. And so these are really great if you have windows that just get a bit of sun in the day. Like not hardcore hot sun constantly, but a few hours here and there, they will absolutely love it and start growing like crazy. I currently have this one in a little hanging basket in my living room, which is about a meter or 3 feet away from a southwest window. So it gets pretty much bright light all day and a couple hours of sun here and there throughout the day as well, which is good. I think it absolutely loves that. It's just the right amount for them, which is great, because it just honestly grown like crazy. Like I said, since I got it like 9 months to a year ago, it's doubled, which is absolutely crazy. And I mean, how can you not like it? So ideal, right? Just give it the right light and it'll like you. If the leaves start spreading out a little bit more on the vines and it gets a bit leggy, that's the plant telling you that it needs to get a little bit more light. Usually they're about 2 to 3 inches or 5 to 8 centimeters apart. So if they start getting more than that, it just means that it needs more light. So you should give it more light. Easy fix right there. When it comes to temperature, string of hearts thrive between 16 and 30 degrees Celsius or 60 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. They really don't like to get much colder than that. So in the winter, try and keep them in a warmer spot rather than a colder spot, just because they're really not gonna like it if they get too cold. They'll stop growing and just really not like you. So better to give them the warmth that they need and they should be fine. I personally don't add any extra humidity to them at all. I don't mist or anything. This one is fairly near some other plants, so it might be getting a little bit of humidity from that, but it's not really that important to them. They can totally live in a drier climate and that's fine. Well-draining soil is a must for string of hearts, because if the soil isn't draining enough, then the water will sit in it and they'll get overwatered and you're gonna lose leaves and eventually get tuber rot and it'll die. So well-draining soil is super important. Also, like most of my other plants, I have a nursery pot inside of the decorative pot. I would take it out, but I genuinely can't seem to be able to do that right now. You can kind of see in there that there's a second layer of pot, but I can't take it out right now. I tried for like 5 minutes and it didn't work. So it's just gonna have to stay until it needs repotting. But speaking of repotting, the best time to repot them is in the summer. That's when they prefer to be changed, just because it's growing season and it'll give them the best chance on surviving the move. Propagation of string of hearts is so freaking easy. Because they grow so fast, it's good to give them regular haircuts. Basically, all you need to do is chop a bit off the bottom of the vine, kind of as much as you want. The minimum you should take is probably 4 sets of leaves, and the max can be, I could chop this whole thing and propagate it if I wanted to. I mean, I won't, but I could if I needed to. Propagation is really easy. So you chop them and then you take the last 1 or 2 sets of leaves off from the bottom of the cutting. You want to make sure you note which end is the growing end and which end is the cut end, because it's really easy to confuse them. But you want to take a couple sets of leaves off of the cut end and expose those nodes. From there, you can either propagate them in water or in the soil. I personally like to propagate them in water because I like to watch the roots grow, but I've heard you can just stick them straight back into the soil if you want to make yourself a thicker plant. Put them back in the soil and it's fine. They should root in time. When I water propagate, I let them grow roots probably a couple inches, like 2 inches or 5 centimeters in length. And then I do end up putting them back in the top of the soil. You can see I've got a couple little sprouts out the front here, those are from where I have propagated bottom of the stem cuttings in order to make the plant fuller. I have about 12 strands here, so each of these is just one strand. They don't really branch off all that much. I want my plant to be quite full, so I propagate pretty regularly whenever it needs a haircut. Another way to propagate these guys is you can take the stems that you have growing out, and instead of cutting them, you can just kind of spiral them around. I've just spiraled this around here and pinned it into the soil with these little pins. And basically from all of the little nodes along this whole spiral that's coming in contact with the soil, in theory it should grow more, which is great because like I said, I want my plant to be a bit thicker and fuller. And so I'm trying to get it to grow as many ways as possible. When it comes to fertilizer, these guys like to be fertilized probably about once a month in spring and summer, not at all in autumn and winter because it's not the growing season. I give this guy like a half strength of the powdered Miracle-Gro, same as I do in all my other plants, and I'll do it about monthly in order to give them the best success to thrive and be fertilized. So that's it. That's all you need to know in order to take care of your string of hearts. It is super easy. Probably one of the most rewarding plants I think I have just because it goes so freaking fast. I can't say that enough. It just grows so fast. Like, if you don't believe me, get one and you'll see that it grows like freaking wildfire. So they're amazing if you want a really fast growing plant where you can really see the results of all of the hard work that you're putting into it. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up down below and comment on things that you'd like me to talk about next. Other plants, hauls, fertilizer, you know, I don't know, whatever you want me to talk about. And I will do my best to make that video for you. And subscribe for more videos forever, I guess. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! That didn't work as well with this one because the leaves are super small. I'm so annoyed that I tangled it. Oh, I've tangled it up here now. Whoops. It just tangles so easily. It's so annoying. So long. Oh my god, and it's tangled anyway. Why are there loops in there? I don't want there to be loops.